Hi everyone, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays for those of you that do not celebrate Christmas. And Mike McDonald here for another of the Success in Sales Hacks and Chats podcast. And this is going to be a different one for me, a very special one, because it's just me talking to you. And 2018 has been a bit of a roller coaster for everybody, myself included. Lots of ups, lots and downs, and I thought I would share with you a couple of my lessons, really, a couple of my takeaways from the full year. And it's a bit of an interesting thing when you do look back and you do reflect over your year. Some people reflect on a yearly basis, some people reflect on a monthly basis, weekly basis, or even every single day. People go through this level of reflection, and the majority of us do look back over the year. And some of you, it could be a positive thing. Some of you, it could be a negative thing. But no matter what, we can make sure that next year is different. We can make sure that next year is a brighter year overall than this year was. But the issue that I'm seeing, what I see a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, is the fact that we can want things to change. We can really feel like things need to happen. Things have to change. Things have to improve. But we need to make sure that we do, in fact, change what we are doing. Now, this is not brand new. This is nothing that is completely out of the blue for anyone that has followed me for any length of time. But the idea that you can want things to change, you can need your year to improve, but then not do anything that moves the needle really towards changing it. Now, some people don't understand that there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes in order for things to work, in order for the needle to really move when it comes to the business. Now, this time last year, I was actually finishing off the launch for this show. So this show is just over a year old, and a lot has happened since then. A lot has grown since then. I had no idea that the show would be anywhere near where it is right now. So I'm very, very grateful for everybody that tunes into the show. Very, very happy that I do actually have listeners, because I didn't actually go in with the intention of having a very successful podcast or any of those things, because part of what holds myself back, part of what holds a lot of other people that I talk to back, is sometimes you can set the bar too high. You can set the standard that you model yourself on, that you rate yourself against, too high. So then no matter what you do, you're always going to come out either a failure or not good enough or any of those things. And that is something I did. I did that. So I was going through the full mental process of starting a podcast, and I was taking myself through like the equipment that I would need, and how would I get guests on the show, and I was running my head through the whole scenario of, once I've committed to the show, that is it. Like, I become a podcaster. I become a form of media that people consume, right? Like radio, like TV. And it was a big step for me at the time, because I stayed inside my own head. There was no external thing that I could put all of my ideas to and actually make sense of it all. And this is where a lot of people stay. A lot of people stay in this place where things are only complicated because we can't make sense of it, because we can't actually get a handle on anything. We're at a stage where we can't actually take action because our head is trying to process everything. What I found helped me was saying, right, what would I be happy with? What standard would I be prepared to accept regarding the show? What technology would I be prepared to be happy with? What guests would I be able to be happy with? Because let's face it, we all have people that we want to meet. We all have people that we would love a chance to have a conversation with. And I've been fortunate to have the people that I look up to on the show, a couple of people that I idolize on the show. I've had a lot of peers on the show, lots of different industries and specialisms, and I've been able to learn a lot for myself just by starting the show, which, for those of you that don't know, was one of my main reasons, my main motivations for starting the podcast was to learn. It was about learning from people. It was about my own development as a person, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. That was my sole focus. So the lessons that I've learned have been on a weekly basis. If we're talking business related, if we're talking what I have learned from the podcast, it has been a lesson every single time I do it. And just going into this idea of, right, I'm a podcaster now, therefore I have to organize my week so that I can actually run the show effectively. Because those of you that have got a lot of things on your plate will know adding things is very, very difficult. Adding a process, adding a project, adding anything to your plate will make everything else suffer if you don't do it in the right way. So I had to make sure that I ran my show in the right way, i.e. the way that works best for me. So looking at other people, modeling myself on other podcasters would only help if I was at that stage, which I wasn't. And when I've listened to podcasts, when I talk to people that have started their shows, a lot of them do actually say that they had a setup very, very similar to the way mine is, which not only makes me feel good about the fact that, hey, I could end up where they are and have studios and a live show and all of those things, which I do aspire to. So those of you that do share the show, those of you that do support the podcast, Success and Sales, Hacks and Chats, you are supporting the growth of the show. Don't forget that. You are supporting my vision for the show. And I do have a lot that I want to accomplish with the show. I want live podcasts with audiences. I want, guests to come in to speak to me face to face rather than what I do right now, which is all virtual. I would love to have a face to face setup for the show. But that is dependent on the size of the podcast. That is dependent on my ability to basically command a certain level of commitment from myself and from everybody else. All right. So every share that you do, every little mention of the show, every message that I get to say the show has really helped me, everything, like we've had stories from people that used to be homeless. We've had stories from people that have climbed Everest. We've had all kinds of things going on looking back over the episodes that we've had on. And it's been fantastic for me to be able to talk to those people. Now, in order for that to grow, in order for my show to grow, I can't just say, do you want to be on the show? I can't just do those things until I can say, well, you'll be in front of this many people. Because those of you that aren't familiar with how the podcasting landscape works, it's based on listens, it's based on downloads, it's based on average downloads, which is why if you're not already subscribed to the show, please make sure that you do that, because it's a way of making sure you keep up with the show, right? Because we have amazing guests on, we have sessions from myself like this one, we have all kinds going on and plenty more to come, plenty more in the pipeline. We've got masterclasses, we've got talks with me, we've got people still sharing their stories of what they've had to overcome to get to where they are. And it's a big project that I've taken on by starting the podcast, but everyone that shares it, everyone that supports the show does add that little bit of weight to how powerful the show becomes. And then what I can then basically bring to the table as it comes down to like live shows, because people have to want to do that. And there needs to be a reason for the guests to want to come on the show. And most of the time, it's their ability to help you. That is the main reason. People want to come onto the show because their story, their knowledge, their expertise will benefit you. That is ultimately the aim. I want to benefit you. That is it. That is my sole purpose. And if I learn from them, that is a bonus. If I learn from the people that I bring on, that is amazing. That is fabulous for me, because then I improve as well as you, which is, win-win. And then if they get to help you, and then you enter their world and you get involved with the more that they have to share, then it benefits them. That is the purpose of doing the joint podcasts. All right. So it's a learning curve for me. Was a learning curve at the time, still is. Always learning, always adapting, always changing how I do things, always trying to improve. And one of the big lessons that I've taken from this year is it is about the continuous improvement. It is about the adapting. It's about the changing. It's about thinking on your feet. It's about how do you adapt to the situations that either you put yourself in or other people put you in. Now, which one is harder? The external thing, right? The situations that other people put you in, you have to be able to adapt to those reasonably well. Otherwise, your stress level goes up, your concentration starts to lack, and you can't focus and you can't balance yourself enough to be able to approach it in the best possible way. But the situations that you put yourself in, there are people that still struggle, that are business owners that still struggle with situations that they willingly put themselves in. And for me, that is a concern. That is an issue for me, because you're doing it to yourself essentially. But there are people out there that do get thrown into situations that do have bars to meet, do have standards to meet, and you have to do it. It's just a part of running your business. And as I've said, over the years, I've had to constantly have this conversation with myself. I've had to constantly say, okay, how would my best self approach the situation? How would I be able to put myself in the best place so that I can give my best to the situation, whether it be a good situation or a bad situation? I've had opportunities come and go. I've had opportunities come and stay, which have been amazing. But the chance to actually have the opportunities to begin with is a positive in of itself. It's something that I've had to be grateful for, even if it hasn't actually materialized, because it's the only way to keep positive enough to move forward. Because, we say that your ability to go through adversity without losing motivation between bouts, right? Between the ups and the downs, is how you feel while you're up, how you feel while you're down, that determines whether or not you keep going. It determines whether or not you stop and you quit and you give up and you go and do something else. Ultimately, it's a conversation. Ultimately, I've had to have dozens of conversations this year that have basically added up to me having the show still. All right, because have I contemplated stopping the show? Maybe once or twice over the past 12 months, which for some of you, that is nothing. For some of you, that is like, oh, if it's a brand new project and it's not worked out at all, I've contemplated quitting all the time. And that is just a testament to the idea of when you improve yourself, you improve your business. Because when I first started, I would have quit the first 2 or 3 months of the show if it hadn't gone the way I'd wanted it to go. Where now I've lasted a full 12 months and things are starting to grow, things are starting to push forwards, and it's because I haven't stopped. It is very, very important to get that across. That sometimes the difference between success and not being successful in whatever it is that you do, however you define it, right? Sometimes the main difference between those two is that you don't stop. That's it. And the accumulation of the different little things that you do, the momentum that you build, the compound interest, if you will, of all of your actions that you take over those 12 months do build and do benefit you in the long term, okay, eventually. But when your time comes, we never know. We never know what happens when your time eventually materializes, and it's like, was it luck, or was it the 2, 3, or 5 or 10 years that you've put towards growing yourself, growing your business, all of the learning that you've done, the research, talking to clients, talking to companies, you name it, right? All of those things come across, and it's hard to tell whether that was the one of the 1,000 that has come through, and in which case, is it luck, or was it because you got better over every single time that you did the repetition? It's hard to tell, because I know I got better at podcasting. I know I've learned how to communicate well. I've learned how to improve on how I get my message across. I've learned how to talk to people better. I've learned how to ask better questions. I probably sound a bit better over the microphone because perhaps my voice has got stronger, right? We're talking basic things. But if those things happen every single time I do it, if those things happen every single week, 52 weeks in a year, okay? So 52 improvements takes you a long way. Even if that's only 0.5%, that's still a fair way in terms of how you've improved on one individual project that you've got going on. So think about how you can improve every single day. Think about how you can change every single day, every single week, every single month. Because if you're intentional about it, if you're focused on what you want to do, what direction you want to go down, okay, what your potential end result is. Because too many people shy away from having a vision, having a goal, breaking it down, having a process, having a strategy for getting there. And one of the arguments to that is, well, what if it changes? So what if it changes? It's allowed to change, but having some level of strategy, having some level of structure, any potential plan is better than no plan at all, even if you've got to change it, even if you've got to rewrite it every single week, even if you have to rewrite it every single day. Sometimes that is better than going in blind and hoping for the best. Now, does that mean that the vision doesn't change? No. Does that mean that the goal never changes? No. Does that mean that, the timeline, right? So your ability to achieve that goal in a shorter time, does that matter? No. Longer time, does that matter? No. Because the goal is what you want to achieve. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and it was like, well, does it matter if your 5 years that you've got to achieve your dream ambition, does it matter if that takes 6 years? Because it's your dream ambition. It's what you've always wanted. It's what you've dreamt of. It's the thing that you've been secretly striving towards for as long as you can remember. Is 1 year going to make a massive difference on the timeline? Because you probably would have achieved a lot on your way there as well. So a big part of having the dream, okay, having the goal that you really, 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 really want, breaking it down, having the journey set so that you've got some level of a plan in order to keep motivated, to keep moving towards it. Chances are you're achieving small milestones as you go. Chances are you're achieving things that you would like to achieve on your way to the dream. Which means that yes, it is not just about the destination, it's about the journey, because you've got micro achievements, you've got mini moments, minute wins, small things that you can celebrate, small things that you can feel grateful for and happy for on your way there. But again, it has to be what you want. So more often than not, people struggle because they're going after something they don't really want. I'll just say that again. A lot of you are struggling because you're not actually doing what you want to do, moving in the direction that you actually want to move down. So yes, this goes out, I think, on the 23rd of December, which means you've got just over a week to get clear on where you want to go, get clear on the steps to get there, the micro things that you've got to hit in order to get there. Okay, some people call it the top 5. All right, so what are the top 5 things that you will need in order to get to that main big dream or goal that you have? Okay, there's no point in having 10 because it feels too big. Some people think 5 is too big. Some people even break it down to the top 3. So go from 5, drop it to 3. So you've got the 3 core things that you need to work on that must happen in order for you to get there. And you start building it in, and you start adding the things in, creating the moments, engineering the situations, thinking about who you need to be in order to get there. Because remember, 2019 can be great. It can be amazing. You can take your life and your business from where it is now and be in a totally different place this time next year. You can look back and go, wow, I'm really glad I listened to this podcast last year, because it means it gave me the fire that I needed, but also the logical, rational thinking process that I need in order to at least feel like it's possible. Because having a vision for the whole year that is a grand one, you will instantly feel like it's too big, and you'll feel like you're setting yourself up to fail. But that's only the case if you don't break it down. It's only the case if you don't at least set yourself a guide, give yourself some type of plan to move forward. Anything. Doesn't matter what it is. All right? I won't judge. Nobody else will judge, because it's what you want. And the only way you will be truly happy is if you go after what you want. Okay, 2019 can be great, but you have to start the change now. Build the momentum. You've got over a week to make the start. Do the groundwork now. Do all the research now. Find things out. Pull information from people. Listen to more podcasts. Go back and listen to a few more of the podcasts that we have here, and just pull things in. Take all the lessons that you need to learn. Discount the rest and go, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to put towards my vision, and I need to break it down. Otherwise, I will feel like it's impossible. Okay? So, that is what I want to say. That is what I want to get across. I'm going to chill out, enjoy my Christmas, everything from presents to food to seeing family and friends and you name it. So, yes, the podcast is not stopping, by the way. Okay, we've got one today, still one next week. We're still rolling forwards, still have guests, still have episodes from me. So the next episode that I am going to do myself, the next solo round, is going to be an Ask Me Anything. It's going to be an AMA, if you will. So if you have questions that you want to ask me, as your host. You can tag me on Instagram, which is at Michael_McDonald1. At Michael_McDonald1. Okay? Tag me on Twitter as well, which is M_McDonald2. So a little bit different, all right? And you can tag me on Instagram stories as well. I will share the story and we can spread the word about the podcast so that the vision for the show can become real. So, Instagram, that is the biggest place to find me. Make sure you tag me. I will see everything, all right? Where the podcast is concerned, I am committed to communicating with everybody that sees the show. The Ask Me Anything episode is a huge part of that. So send me a message on Instagram, send me a message on Twitter, reach out, let me know how the show has helped you. If it has, any feedback is more than appreciated. Reviews on the platforms that you do check the show out on is very important because it helps the show grow, helps me grow the show as well. All right, so reach out to me on Instagram, tag me on the stories, and I will share it. Give everybody, everybody the love, if you will, when it comes to Instagram. Twitter as well, send me messages, share the show out. More than happy for you to reach out to me on Twitter as well. On Facebook, so if you want to join the community for the podcast, all right, the Facebook group is Entrepreneurs, Success and Sales Mindset. So that is my specialist area, is mindset around success and sales in your business. And if you join the group, you get access to trainings from me. So aside from the podcast, I do trainings every single week in the group. So you get to have a more interactive relationship with me. So for Instagram, for Twitter, and for the Facebook group, I will put links in the description for the show. I'll hyperlink Instagram, I'll hyperlink Twitter, and the Facebook group as well, so you can check me out. Come and join the fun. Lovely to have you there. I would love if everybody that listens to the show submitted a question, and I can help you out on your business wise, on your mindset wise, or if you just want to get to know me a little bit more. So all of the guests on the show have the question, what would you like the world to know about you that it doesn't already know? And I asked that question to get a very, very particular reaction. A lot of the time it's, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Sometimes it's, oh, I don't know what to answer, right? So we've all had moments where we do share a bit about us. Now, if you want to know a bit about me, you can ask me some reasonably personal questions as well, within reason. Obviously, I choose the questions that I answer. So if you actually want an answer, then make sure it's airable on the show. Okay, bit of a warning for people there with one of those types of minds, right? So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Merry Christmas to everybody that does celebrate Christmas. Happy holidays to those that don't. Make sure you check out the show on Instagram and Twitter and join the Facebook group so you get to chat to me a little bit more. If you have any questions, reach out, send me messages. I will put them forward for the show so that the Ask Me Anything will be fully loaded with questions and answers. I already have about 4 or 5 questions already. So to add to those would be fantastic. I hope you have an amazing holiday, amazing new year. The next guest will come out a week from today, so you don't have to wait for the show to come out. You've only got to wait a week. Hopefully you have a good one, and I will speak to you all very, very soon.